Capitol Hill will be the main focus today for the White House. U.S. President Trump's signature legislature to cut taxes and government spending is facing another crucial vote. And Katie Nicholson joins us on that story. Good morning, Katie. What bill is now returning to the House of Representatives, and what do we watch for?
Hey, good morning. Well, it's the big, beautiful bill. It squeaked by a Senate vote yesterday. Vice-President J.D. Vance had to cast the tiebreaker, and there were 3 Republican senators who voted against it. 2 were very vocal about it. And even some of the Republican senators who voted for it, like Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, grumbled about the bill after the fact. And when it comes before the House this morning, Speaker Mike Johnson is bracing for more dissension in the ranks. He got a preview of that yesterday when Texas Representative Chip Roy, who's a GOP fiscal hawk, sounded off about this version of the bill that was passed by the Senate that is projected to balloon the deficit by more than $3 trillion over the next 10 years. Now,
I'd love to do that. I'd love to have rates that don't change and they're permanent and they're low. But by doing that, they're exposing the problem. And that problem is just simple arithmetic. And that is, if you do that, then you're going to have an issue with respect to revenue and with respect to spending. My colleagues in the Senate failed us.
Roy, they're specifically referencing the 2017 tax cuts enacted by the Trump administration for the most wealthy, which this bill seeks to make permanent. There are also deep cuts to Medicaid, projections of 12 million Americans potentially losing health care. That has moderates nervous about heading into the midterms, having to defend that to impacted constituents and their families. And to be clear, this isn't a simple vote today, right? There's a lot of procedure still to go through. This bill first has to pass the House Rules Committee this morning. That's where they're going to decide how they're going to run the debate, essentially. And at that time, if there are any further changes that are demanded by that committee, that kicks the bill back into a negotiation committee with some senators. And then, if the bill clears those hurdles, there are any number of procedural delay attempts that could happen in debate. And to be sure, Speaker Johnson isn't going to want to push a vote if he isn't sure that he doesn't have the numbers. So he may even end up stalling the final vote on this. Speaker Johnson can only afford to lose 3 votes if all sitting members vote on this and still pass that legislation along party lines. The margins here are very thin. And of course, there is the simple math after the weather last night about how many bodies are physically going to be in the House. All those storms that whipped through this area last night in the northeastern U.S., they have the House scrambling to get representatives here. One was forced to drive 14 hours from Chicago overnight because flights were canceled. So there's math to overcome in the budget, math on the votes, a tough row to hoe to get this over the finish line. Trump had wanted this passed by July 4th, but yesterday he seemed to understand how fraught this process is becoming. He signaled he's willing to accept some elasticity on that timeline, but he's really also on social media pushing for all the representatives to vote along the party line here and get this over the finish line.
Okay, and Katie, we should talk about Trump's bill, which is reigniting his feud with Elon Musk. So what's the latest there?
All right, so Musk had threatened to start a third party if this bill passes and to work against Republicans who vote for it in the primaries. Yesterday, Donald Trump said Doge, that cost-cutting agency Musk spearheaded, ought to take a run at Musk's subsidies. He has so many business interests intertwined with the federal government, including SpaceX. And so this war of words appearing also to have a negative impact on Tesla's shares yesterday. But there is enough worry that Musk could do some political damage to Trump and the Republicans if he makes good on this threat, that a Trump supporter has now started a super PAC called Full Support for Donald, just in case Musk actually tries to start up a third party or fund challengers at the primaries.
All right. Thank you so much, Katie.